And away we go. Hi, everybody, and welcome in. It's time for episode number 709 of Three Guys Before the Game. The title of the show, WVU Basketball, Crown the Kings. The boys are back from Vegas, and we are assembled, and we will break it all down. Basketball season now officially over on both the men and the women's side. Spring football practice continues. That only has 11 days left, so that's going by incredibly fast. Mountaineer baseballers, well, they're right into the midst of their season. We'll talk about that. They've got the Thundering Herd of Marshall in Morgantown tomorrow as we record on a Tuesday. We've got all of that and, 209 pages of textual healing. A lot of contributions there to textual healing.
Talk about a high and low on the baseball series.
Yeah,
it's
baseball.
Incredible. By the way, you guys, you were gone so long. I thought you had a residency.
Close. Us and Celine Dion.
Yeah,
we're in residence.
Tony and Brad will be in residence in Las Vegas for the next 3 weeks.
Long trip, good trip,
great trip.
Oh my gosh,
Vegas was good to us.
Vegas was very.
Crown was good to us.
The Crown was well, I don't want to.
Yeah, don't use your obvious observations.
Okay. I have to stop myself.
In case you don't know yet, West Virginia won the Crown.
Was Crown the Crown?
This just in, West Virginia won the Crown. There's a lot of pieces to it. And as we record, it's the 7th day of April, which means the transfer portal is open.
Nothing's happened till
green light is open, so here we go. Now all the conversations can be legal. The 2.7 million conversations that have been happening throughout the course of the season over the last year, now they become official. And visits being planned, visits will be here, and probably will have a good portion of the West Virginia roster done in 3 weeks. Not all of it. It'll be a month before the roster's done, but it'll be in the next 2 weeks to 3 weeks, it'll be filled up. And it's just, what a world, man. I mean, it's a revolving door, and this comes to an end. You immediately start building the roster again, and some of the guys, the newcomers, the names that perhaps you haven't even heard yet, will be here in 5 weeks. About the middle of May is when they started to trickle in.
Be here for good, not for visits.
Yeah,
be here for good.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then June, they'll be on the floor.
I thought President Trump issued an executive order and changed all that.
It's huge because on Friday of last week, you talk about guys spinning around. All of those coaches that were in Vegas, they're going like, wait a second. Wait. There's a potential here for a 5th year of eligibility for some of those guys. If it happens, that could impact West Virginia. Don't have any idea where this is going to go. The executive order, as you know, does not make it happen. It will be challenged. But you could have, just on the West Virginia roster, a Brennan Lorient could have a 5th year. A Trayson Eaglestaff could have a 5th year. Now, whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But these coaches, they need to know like yesterday because they've got money to spend. And if they're going to spend their money, like if I want some guys to stay and some guys I got to keep, well, that'll also take me away from taking these 2 guys I've got coming in. So you talk about
and you'd like
bizarre.
to start there. In West Virginia's case, if that's the case, you'd like to start there.
Sure.
And build around that. But just because he issued that order does not make it true. There's a lot of steps to get there. But here's the problem, Hop, is that he says that, then everybody goes into questioning, but there's nowhere you can go for a definitive answer. In the old days, a coach would say, I'll go to my compliance office. All right, you do that now. The compliance office says, I don't know. I'll go to the conference office and get clarification. They do that now. They go to the conference office. The conference office is going to say, I don't know. We don't know either. We'll go to the NCAA and get it figured out. Now you go to the NCAA to get it figured out, and they say, I don't know. That just came out the other day. We don't know what that is. He just said that. I don't know.
Make it up.
Well, great point, Brad.
So there's no definitive answers
There's
right
no
now.
definitive answers. So 2 things about that. One is, it is certainly legally questionable that the President of the United States can issue an executive order as to how long a student can be eligible, number one. But the second thing is, Brad, to your point, so if you're a school, Just do what you think, do what you want to do, and apologize later and say, well, we don't know what the rules were, so we were doing this in the best interest of the student athlete, and apologize later.
Correct, which I like. And I'm on board with that. I may even said that directly to people that matter on this trip. The challenge you get into that, though, is, okay, let's say you do that, and you do a deal with Brennan Lorient, and you put the money forth, and then somewhere along the line it comes back that it is not allowed that you do that. And I know there hasn't been not a lot of not allowed. There haven't been a lot of those. But if one does, and you've tied up a significant portion of your dollars and a roster spot to somebody that's a really valuable player, and that becomes a hole or it's not able to be used, then you got a potential issue.
We're going to get into all of this and more. Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Gomart. Get yourself that Gomart Rewards app. Save on food and fuel. Had an unbelievable Gomart story while we were in Vegas.
Excuse me?
Mind blower. We'll tell you about that coming up. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Boating weather right around the corner. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. We also had a Tudor's exchange in Vegas. By Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law.
He's right. We did.
They won't take no for an answer. By Conley's CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. And by WVU Medicine, that's Textual Healing. They'll bring us, they bring healing, and so they'll bring us Textual Healing, the exclusive healthcare provider for all mountaineers, including you. All right, you ready to do this thing? Hoppy, have you been preparing for your obvious observations?
I have.
All right, let's do this then. Let's start the song.
He's got thoughts that sound brand new, but they're things we already knew. He's got his lip balm ready, heaven knows. Let's make it quick before his bladder blows. It's Hoppy's obvious observations.
He's been looking forward to this since the two of us were with the team in Vegas, and he's been back here. He's been jonesing to get some thoughts off of his chest, obviously.
I watched all three games, listened to you guys, all three games. Great job by you guys. You know, I thought about this last night, whether in sports or life, there is this question of whether you meet the moment. And it could be at work, it could be in your personal relationship, it could be in sports. But Brad, there are moments that come up, and how are you going to meet that? Are you going to meet the challenge? Or are you going to back away? Are you not going to perform? Or are you going to use the skills that you've learned? Are you going to use your coaching and guidance? Are you going to use what you have within to meet the moment? And this WVU basketball team, struggling some at the end, went out there and in every way imaginable met the moment. Right?
Agree.
Go ahead. Sorry, I forgot to turn the ringer off.
That's podcast. Just keep going.
Okay. Played their best 3-game stretch of the season in this tournament, I would argue. So I think that obviously the team and the coaching staff can take great pride in that, and Mountaineer Nation can take great pride in that. They end the season with a 3-game winning streak, one of the few teams in the country that end their season with a win.
Only 3.
Right. That's first. Second of all, as I said before you guys left, I thought the opportunities were better in this tournament than if you got a mismatch in the NCAA tournament. This ended up being better for WVU for a couple of reasons. One is you met comparable teams, and you won 3 games, and you got $300,000. By the way, $300,000. So when I ask Coach Hodge about the money on this program, he said, well, I'm not sure they're quite aware of the money. And then he goes in the locker room, he's showing money. He's showing cash. So that was huge. You got $300,000 for those players. WVU, along with that, WVU got national attention, excellent national attention, because this was a Fox event, right? Mm-hmm. So at first you're on FS1, then you're on Fox, the main channel, and they blew it out. I mean, they had pre-games, they had post-games. Their production values, as you talked about a minute ago, Tony, the production values were very high for this game, pre-game, halftime, post-game. And if you looked at the Fox Sports website, it was all over it. Yeah. They had highlights, they had interviews, they had stuff. So you got more national attention in that game than you would have gotten in the NCAA tournament unless you had pulled a major upset, I would argue. The viewership, I haven't seen the viewership numbers yet. I was searching for that this morning. But if you look at last year, the Crown viewership outperformed the NIT. And the NIT has become, is it happening? Is it going on? Is it over?
It happened after the West Virginia game that night. It was Tulsa against Auburn.
Yeah. So I think it proves that there is a market for events like this. Have one at the beginning of the season. Have one during the season. Have one postseason where you invite teams and you pay NIL money. I mean,
yeah,
why not?
Players Era does that in November.
Yeah, okay. West Virginia will be in one of these back in Las Vegas. It's new home court in November.
You get $1 million, Hoppy, in November.
Yeah, so,
just for playing.
Just for playing.
So
the macro of all that is of course, winning was the biggest. That was a great event. And the games were positioned, West Virginia games were positioned. You were not in direct competition with NCAA games.
That's why they set
That's
it up
why they
that
do
way.
it. Yeah.
That's why the tournament's put together that way.
Yeah. So it was there. So you want to watch another 3 hours of pregame for the NCAA tournament, like, hey, here's a game.
Yeah, live basketball.
Yeah, here's a good game. And I would argue that the games that West Virginia played, if you just, and this is, I know, hypothetical, you subtract out the stakes, and the games themselves were more entertaining than the semifinals and the finals of the NCAA tournament.
This field produced some good games. It wasn't just the West Virginia games. There was, Colorado and Oklahoma.
Yeah,
went to overtime as well. This Fox got lucky on this field. It produced some really entertaining basketball.
Whereas the semifinals of the NCAA were blowouts. Like, okay, and I turned the game off last night. I thought it was boring in the first half.
Wow.
But again, I was so caught up in West Virginia's performance. Now, a couple of notes about the games, and I'm not going to get too much into them.
And here he comes. He says that now he's going to pound you. He's going to hit you with adjusted offensive ratios now. Go ahead.
No. I just don't make a couple obvious observations. The Stanford game, Honor Huff hitting those 3 free throws. And I remember when we talked to him at the hunting and fishing show, we said, do you want the ball? He wants the ball. He got the ball, and he made those free throws. That was just like, oh.
Before I was just going to say, before he made the free throws, though, that was just a high IQ play.
Yes.
That Geeler from Stanford reached his hand in there, which I don't know why he was doing that. Again, the whole debate, do you foul when you're up 3 or not? The reason you don't, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
The reason you don't is exactly what happened. Geeler reaches to try and foul, thinking he's going to get it on the floor, but he went too late, and as soon as Honor felt that arm come across, he ripped up through him. There's obvious contact. It was the call. You had to call the foul, and you put yourself in peril.
Not according to the Stanford analyst who was on the Fox. He was quite upset about that. But
that doesn't just because he was on Fox doesn't mean he's right. Guess what? He was wrong. Hoppy, that was a foul.
And Brad, one other point about that game, and you talked about that a lot in your analysis in the second half. I mean, Okori's a dude, right? He's a player, and there was a
personal friend of mine.
Do you talk to him?
Oh, Tony rode the elevator with him every day, just like they were buddies.
Well, you want
to go get some coffee? Come on down.
We bonded. Hey, I get in the elevator the first day we get there. And I look at him. He looks at me. And he goes, "You a coach?" And I said, "No." He goes, "And I go, "I know who you are." And he goes, "I feel bad for Amir because he was played at middle school basketball against Amir Jenkins of West Virginia." Yeah.
Oh, and Amir could have been.
And he goes, "Man, that's terrible about the ass." So we talked, and then the next day I get on the elevator. There's my boy again. And I said, "What's up, man? How we doing today?" He goes, "Good. You guys going to practice?" So now we're just basically
guys.
Yeah,
you're just guys.
We were just guys. I tell you what, he's a dude. You shake that young man's hand, it's a bear claw.
Oh, really?
He is thick. That's how he gets to the basket.
Yeah.
He takes all that contact.
Yep.
He's going to be an NBA guy. Now, he's going to be a multimillionaire here very, very soon. And he might
somewhere.
And he might stay at Stanford.
Maybe there.
Oh, really?
They might come up with some change.
They should, because there was a stretch there, about a 10-minute stretch. He was unstoppable. Couldn't stop. But you pointed out, Brad, and this was a great call by Coach Hodge and by you to note, where West Virginia started that double team as soon as he got across the line. And what'd he do? Gave the ball up.
Just gave it up. And they did not have any other offensive options. And we talked about Geeler going into the game, a really talented three-point shooter. He'd been at Stanford 4 years. But an underrated part of Honor Huff's journey to the MVP of the Crown Tournament. The highlights were yesterday, the scoring. Mm-hmm. The defensive job he did on Geeler couldn't get any shots off. No. He made 2 threes. One of them was a Hail Mary from the corner early. And so once Corey started giving it up, that was ball game. We'll get into it, but master class throughout this tournament by Ross Hodge coaching. There were some phenomenal offense and defensive adjustments, X and O wise.
Every time that Okori came across midcourt and saw the double team and passed it, I went, whew.
That was the design.
That was brilliant. Creighton game. DJ Thomas
was great.
Was just a player. 9 of 14, 2 of 5 from 3-point, 20 points in 21 minutes. 20 points in 21 minutes. Oklahoma. I took great pleasure in that. Didn't you? I mean,
I forgot something. And it'll come up in textual healing, but you go ahead.
Okay,
what goes around, it's what goes around comes around, but go ahead.
Yeah. Honor Huff played all but 1 minute of that game.
Sure he did.
That's good.
Played 44 minutes. Scored 38.
Was electric.
Should have played 46 out of 45.
Was electric.
9 of 19 shooting, 8 of 15 from 3, 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Again, obvious observations. 4 assists. He was just like, boom. He was in a zone. He was in a zone. Chance Moore was big in that.
He had a great tournament.
Yeah, great tournament. 2 other notes, and I'll let it go. Wonderful. Really happy for Trey Eaglestaff.
Mm-hmm.
Who in those first 2 games we saw Trey Eaglestaff, right? Averaged 17 points, was nailing it from 3, was huge in those games. And also, this won't, and Brad, you'll like this, does not show up in the stat line, but you guys drew attention to it appropriately in all the games. I think the unsung hero of this tournament was Harlan Obioha. His defense was spectacular. And even if you didn't see it at the time, you saw it when he was out, what happened, and when he was in, how the game went. And I don't know what the plus-minus was. Maybe I have numbers on that. I just thought he had – doesn't show up in stat line. I thought, Brad, he had a fantastic tournament.
As you heard me say all throughout the broadcast, it was the difference in the game. Honor scoring you had to have. Without Harlan Obioha's effort, and I'll give some numbers to it, you don't win that event. And listen, if you listen to this show and you watch this show, you know how valuable he is to that defense. And some of his stat lines were not going to wow you all year, but he is a primary reason why this defense was a top 20 national defense all year, and it just helped you to a crown championship.
And that play, Tony, where he dives into the seats.
Poor seats.
But that was, you saw that and you just were
Absolutely.
fired up, right? And his teammates are running over there to him. I mean, those kind of plays inspire. They inspire. So, bottom line, this was an entertaining, impactful, memorable end to a season worthy of the pride that you should have in this team. And I hope it establishes Coach Hodge's baseline for building for the future.
Well said.
Thank you.
I think it did. I think it will. I think it will going forward. And as I said, and I can't overemphasize this is never – basketball season has now become a revolving door. So this team played its first scrimmage game in the middle of October. October 16th, they played Maryland. It's April 7 as we record. Again, visits are coming this weekend. Roster starts to be put together. You'll hear the names. May, they start to trickle. June, they start to practice. It doesn't end. June, July, August, school starts again in August, and off you go, and you're going to be playing again. You're going to be in Vegas in 7 months, playing for the Players Era with a whole new team.
Wow.
So,
but this team, I think, will, and a prisoner of the moment, I think this team will have a special place.
Mountaineer fans will always love this team, as they should.
It should.
Yeah, as they should. They should, and they do, and they do. They love this team. They truly do. Those that followed this team, they knew that it wasn't going to be the most talented team that West Virginia's ever put on the floor, but as far as likability and as far as determination and desire and resilience and refusal to lose, how many times did they come back? I got to count it up. It might be 4 or 5. They came back from double-digit deficits in games to win. That's incredibly hard to do, and they did it, and then they did it in their final game. And the way that they did it, just
I mean, you're 7 down with what, three to go?
Yeah.
And
yes.
Yeah. Well, and Stanford, I mean, we were watching it last night on the plane. You were down 6 with 1:04 to go. DJ made a layup down 6 with 1:04, cut it to 4. Down 6 with, so in essence, at 1:05 on the clock in that game, you're down 6 and found a way to come back.
Yeah.
Just remarkable. And you've heard Tony and I say this all year, and I know sometimes people think you're just clicheing and you're just saying that. This group of guys, there wasn't one single, never mind day, there wasn't a moment when this group didn't walk in with its head up, say hello and greet you, have a conversation with you. Didn't matter what the situation had been, all the ups and downs that you go through as a fan, and these guys do personally, internally. They never outwardly slouched, pouted, had a bad moment. Not one. Hoppy, not one. That's not an exaggeration, Tony, right? That is not an exaggeration. And I've said this before. I was around these guys nearly daily since June, and not one single moment of a bad day or someone just walked off the court without coming over to say hello to you. That matters. That character shows up.
Yes, it
That's
does.
not just willy-nilly happenstance that you came from behind 5 times, double digits. It's because that's how that group went off the floor. They did it on the floor. When they got behind, they didn't come over and hang their collective heads or individual heads. They just kept playing. They just kept playing. They just kept playing, and that turned into how many of those comeback wins. And listen, guys, when we say when you talk about the talent level of this team, there might not be some top 5 NBA picks. There might not be first-round picks. There's a lot of guys that grew into their role and understood what they were supposed to do. There is some talented basketball players out there that I thought dragged this whole entire program to what ended up being a very, very successful year one under Ross Hodge and this staff, given the tumultuous nature of the last 4 years. I think it was a really good season. You want to be in the NCAA tournament. Short of that, this was a very, very successful year one.
Well, and by the way, we talk about this, when somebody talks about, oh, this bowl game doesn't matter, this tournament doesn't matter, not in the NCAA. Have you ever seen at the end of a game the winning team not be absolutely thrilled?
Oh, yeah.
Which West Virginia was, and they should have been.
Sure. They had fun, man.
Right?
Well, Tony, you'll agree with this, and I said this on the last episode. The standard disclaimer, you want to be in the NCAA tournament. You are playing to get in the NCAA tournament. Everybody in the program understands you wanted to be in the NCAA tournament. Absent of that, what I said going into this, some of my best memories around WVU sports have been around some of these NIT trips and wins. When you won the NIT, when you went to Reynolds Coliseum and knocked off NC State, when you watched Antonio Daniels, who was a top 5 pick, come into the Coliseum. There is some good basketball that can be played in non-NCAA tournament. And when you're in that cocoon and you're out there and you're part of that group and you're in that cocoon as these players were, that's all that mattered, guys. It didn't matter what had happened before. It didn't matter what happened against Utah or at Kansas State. They were in that moment, winning and advancing on, and that's fun. Those guys had a blast in Las Vegas.
They did. They earned it.
That's meeting the moment. That's meeting the moment.
And tremendous praise to the coaching staff, because that refusal to lose attitude was instilled by this staff, again, from the very beginning when they got onto the floor in June. This is how we practice. This is how we play. This is what we do. And they instilled that in those guys. So that was wonderful to see. 3 guys before the game. Textual Healing and Spreads on Stats is coming up, brought to us in part by Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. Jay, a client of Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law, wrote this in after his case was closed. The team that worked with me to achieve success in getting my disability approved was nothing less than spectacular. Their tremendous dedication to my case and incredible care helped me overcome the challenges that I unintentionally created. Despite all of that, they remained patient and dedicated. If there were a way to give everyone on the team a 10 out of 5, I absolutely would. Truly a wonderful experience. If you're reading this and need help with the most legal matters of any kind, caring, thorough, focused, dedicated, exceptional legal representation, in my opinion, Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law are the absolute best, and that from an actual client. So if you need help, whether it be veterans benefits, Social Security claims, or personal injury, visit Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. That's Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. 3 guys before the game is also brought to us in part by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. It's that time, Hoppy.
Yes,
did you see this? So now it might be a little chilly today, but the warm weather is on its way. And at Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they're getting ready for the season. They are the only Honda Marine premium dealership in the state of West Virginia. They happen to be the #1 pontoon boat seller in the state of West Virginia. They've been at it for over 40 years, award-winning. And if you need service, or if you need maybe that new craft or any type of equipment or supply, visit Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. You doing Spreads on Stats?
Yeah, I've got a few numbers.
So
I tried limited. We're not going through every game and all of them. We could sit here for 4 hours. The numbers were astounding. I tried to pick out some highlights.
So you're going to do Spreads on Stats?
I said, yeah.
Okay, we might as well
Roll
do that then.
Yeah, roll it.
Spreads on Stats. All right.
So I checked the numbers.
We'll just go right to the numbers.
Why not? Let's go to the numbers.
Let's jump into
Spreads on
the
Stats
analytics.
is brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. What do? Well, they provide a whole lot of value beyond the numbers. They are your walking partner in business. We mentioned Brad and I, we go for walks. We get a group of people. We walk for a long distance. Well, Conley CPA, you're the client. They're the walker next to you, and you just kind of say, hey, what about this? Like, can we do anything different with this? Can I help? Can I save money? Yeah, they can do all of that. Visit Conley CPA.
Didn't you go for a walk with the president of the university?
We did. We had the great fortune. President Benson came in for, which game was he there for?
First game, right?
Second game?
Which game was it?
Second game, I thought.
Second?
I don't remember.
First or second game. Anyway, he came in and he was there the next morning, and we'll talk about that. But he said, hey, you guys walking in the morning? I said, yeah, we're walking. You want to go? And he goes, yeah, I'm in. I said, okay. Boom. He was there front and center.
Yeah, we will get into it, but had a classic, always a West Virginia connection during our walks.
Oh, really?
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Always Hoppy,
Of
as you
course
well
there
know.
is. Yeah.
Talk about that. So how you doing this?
Just going to kind of meander through it.
All right.
We'll just kind of jump in. Some offense, some defense. One of the big numbers that jumped out to me, West Virginia's defense was locked in this category. Points off turnovers in the Crown. Over the 3 games, 56-24 advantage, plus 32 points over 3 games in points off turnover. 26-11 against Oklahoma, OU.
26-11.
26-11 plus 15. You had 11 live ball turnovers against Oklahoma. Turn that into 1.73 points per possession.
Nice.
Against Creighton, 1.7 points per possession off each live ball turnover. Against Stanford, 1.8 points per possession. Very nearly a literal basket off of every live turnover you got. You think that matters in games? Yeah, it mattered. You really did a job on OU defensively. That was a top 20 team in offense. I mean, that was a very, very good offensive team.
Scary.
And West Virginia had its moments, especially early and late, which I'll get into, when it closed off OU's ability to score. That in-between area, they were cooking, and you saw why they were a top 20 offense, but you cut that down. Let's look at some of the offense, because I thought, again, well, I'll get into it coming up, about what I thought Ross Hodge did throughout this tournament in terms of was tremendous from an X and O standpoint. But 3-point shooting, most made threes in a game came Sunday against Oklahoma, 15 of them.
Good time.
The second most threes you made in a game all year came against Creighton the day before. You banged home 27 threes in the last 2 games.
And just 2 in that first game, right? They struggled, and we were talking before the game. We were on our walk, and we said, man, why can't we just have one of those performances just once, like when they scrimmaged Maryland and dropped, how many did they drop on Maryland?
Well,
16?
16 from Honor and Trey. Honor had 10, Trey had 6 in that game.
All we want is, like, why can't we have one of those? Well, they did.
They did, yeah.
They did. They got it. You shot 27 of 63 from 3, 43% over the final 2 games to make a difference. Now, I'll get into this a little more coming up, but this further highlighted just exactly how good this Big 12 is. I think that sometimes is forgotten when you're in the throes of the grind, and there's a difference between a good defensive team and top 5 after top 5 and then a top 10, and you get a break because they're only 32nd in defensive efficiency. It changes. I think we forget how good that league is going through it, right? We just say, okay, play Arizona tonight. Okay, play Iowa State tonight. Now you're coming back with Cincinnati, who's not an NCAA tournament team, but 12th nationally in defensive efficiency. I think we forget that and take it for granted. And you get outside of that against what is still a couple of really good teams, and now, look at this, you're scoring in the 80s. Imagine that. The offense is clicking. You're getting open shots. Yeah, you're still running good stuff. It's just not the 7 best defenses in America that you're playing against week in and week out. I'll get into some of that. You're now 8-2, or you finished the season 8-2 on the season when making 10 or more threes. That was the benchmark. Your 2 losses, both in overtime, Ohio State and Oklahoma State, were the only 2 times you lost when making 10. So you were very nearly undefeated when getting to that 10+3 mark. Second most points scored off unguarded catch and shoots in a game this season. Finally. It was the most against a high major team. in unguarded threes. The ball movement was outstanding. The drive and kick, tremendous. And the ability to slide into your spots, you got an offense that was clicking on all cylinders. You had 6 games this season once Big 12 play began, with double-digit unguarded catch and shoots. Only 6 from the time Big 12 play started all the way through Sunday. You got them in back-to-back games in this tournament. So again, your ability to operate efficiently and against some defenses that weren't 5 of the 6 best defenses in America, that came through. Your 6th best offensive efficiency performance came against OU this season. The 5 teams that put up a better number were all NCAA tournament teams against OU, I'm saying. So that was the 6th best offensive performance against the Sooners. The 5 others that were ahead of Sunday's performance all made the NCAA tournament. That's what elite company you were in offensively against them on Sunday. That was the most threes made against the Sooners all season and the 3rd best shooting percentage from 3. So a lot of people want to say how good the SEC is, and it is. It's a very good league. West Virginia just put up one of the better offensive performances that group saw, and they were in one of the very best leagues in America. One of the things you always point to, or we point to, is out of timeouts or after timeout performance. I do think that's a good indication of what you can draw up offensively. I've said it all year, Hop. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times on this show. West Virginia, one of the nation's leaders in scoring, in efficiency, points per possession, coming after a timeout. Against Oklahoma, 2nd most points after a timeout in a game all season. You had 21. You outscored them 21-9 after timeouts.
Wow.
The 3rd most all season, 3rd most points all season after timeouts, Stanford game. Put up 20 in that game. Again, you had a few extra opportunities because there's more timeouts because those games go overtime, but you had a decided advantage in those games coming out of timeouts. Again, backing up what we said. When Ross goes into a timeout, you don't score every time, but very rarely do you get a bad shot. You come out of there with something. That was on display in these 2 games. You had 14 games this season with double-digit points out of a pick and roll. 14 times all season. Out of how many games? 35?
21 and 14, yes.
14 times you had double-digit points out of a pick and roll. 3 of those came in this tournament. Think that was working, Hop?
Yeah.
So the other part of this is, and you always need to remember this, I think, you get into games against unfamiliar opponents, and they don't know your stuff. Right. When you're going through that Big 12 grind, teams know. I mean, they know. They've scouted you. They've watched you. There's a body of work, and they see you. And scouting, you can click ahead a couple games with your folks, right? You can do advanced scouting. In a tournament, it's harder to do that because you don't know who you're going to play, right? Mm-hmm. So you get in these situations. This is why coaches often say, Tony, defense travels. Because the defensive game plan going against these guys was about the same every game. There wasn't time to make a bunch of tweaks and give it to the guys to digest and practice it. There just wasn't. So what'd you have to do? You had to fall back on your principles from the season. And you talked about personnel and how you were going to match up against different individuals, but your base systems had to stay in place. West Virginia's base systems, as we talked about all year, you didn't win as many games as you wanted, but the base systems were pretty solid, especially defensively. You didn't make a lot of changes. You tweaked to bring that double team at the end, but you did what you did, and it was really good over these 3 games. That was the only stretch all season where you had 3 straight games with double-digit points off pick and roll. So you were dealing. And a lot of that was on our shot making, but Jasper Floyd was huge again. Trey was big out of the pick and roll, so that was clicking offensively. Here's the other thing that really improved as the season went on. You had double-digit points off cuts to the basket 1 time in the first 9 Big 12 games. You then did it 9 times over the next 12 games. So you started to adjust to what defenses were doing to you. People understood what they were doing offensively. The back down, dribble down started working with guys cutting to the basket. You had a big one yesterday when Jasper cut diagonally and caught the ball in the middle of the lane, then turned and kicked it out for a below 3. That stuff was really working over the final 12 games as these guys started to understand their offensive rotations and what the defense was taking away and how you slide to counteract that. This thing was really going by the end of the year offensively, and you saw that. Hoppy, the Harlan OBO hotline, let's talk about that for a minute because I said it 1,000 times on Sunday. he was terrific all year defensively and was such a big part of that group being so good defensively on the season. But I thought in this tournament, he took it to a new level. Against Oklahoma in particular, guys, he was throwing a shutout for the first 5 minutes he was in the game. Oklahoma did not score a single point in the first 5 minutes when Harlan was in that game. That's why West Virginia jumped out to a big lead. Then foul trouble plagued him the rest of the half and then to the start of the second half. He came back in with 4 fouls at the 7:06 mark of that game. Much like he did down at Central Florida, he then played the rest of the game. Final 7:06 of the second half, the 5 minutes of overtime, and that was a massive difference. The first 5 minutes of the game, when they didn't score, he was plus 17 on the plus minus. The last 12 minutes of the game, when he was on the floor with 4 fouls and did not get a fifth and stayed in the game, he was plus 18. My man finishes plus 35 and a plus minus in a game that was close all game and went into overtime. That's almost impossible to do. And plus minus isn't the end-all be-all stat, but it does, I think, at times show you a value of a player on the floor. Harlan Obioha's value in Sunday's game in particular was massive, and it was just a continuing trend throughout the year. And I know it's hard, especially if you're listening. You can't see what he does defensively and how he does it, but Hop, the gist of it is, when teams run pick and rolls, which are so many teams' bread and butter offense, and that guard comes around the top screen, and we say Harlan shows, that means he jumps in front of that ball handler and has to stop penetration. So you got a big dude out there that shows, and it stops penetration, but then he also has to be nimble enough to drop and prevent the lob over top or the pass to the roll man. He does that about as well as any big you're going to find. And some of that's got great feet. Right? He is athletic.
It's like Jimmy Bell. Great feet.
He can move, and he's athletic. You saw him on the perimeter yesterday, one-on-one on the perimeter at times. But his ability to show and recover is the anchor of that Ross Hodge defense. So your next guy in that replaces him, that's the skill set you're looking for. That is a massive weapon defensively for this group in particular, and he played it perfectly on Sunday.
Absolutely, yeah.
Always nice to have a redwood tree in the middle of your defense.
Guy that can move.
Just a massive presence, and he impacts, and he did.
By the way, where did Lorient start on that dunk? Did he start about half court on that dunk?
He was inside the he was above the restricted circle, so a step in from the foul line. Yeah, he tomahawked that baby in there.
He made
How about now we're kind of off the stats here. We can just riff on some of these guys and just what they meant to this program. How about Chance Moore?
Yeah.
And the role he played, and down the stretch, the final 10, 12 games, he was just invaluable.
Well,
and in this tournament, he went to a new level.
You don't win that game against Oklahoma. How many plays in the second half did he make by getting that ball on that left side wing and penetrating? Dude can finish.
Yeah.
I mean, he obviously the free throw shooting, he would love to do that a little bit better, but he totally took control of that game in the second half when they needed him badly. He kept them in that game. He kept them within striking distance because of that ability.
2 straight double-doubles. His work on the glass was unbelievable, and I thought one of the underrated plays of yesterday's game, he clears one off the glass there late, knew he had almost the entire 2 teams behind him, and took off down the floor, threw the pass in the corner that Honor got to stick the 3 that was a massive play. Chance was tremendous, and again, you got the offense. Like, this thing ebbs and flows, and you figure out what you have personnel-wise, and it was working yesterday. You had shooters that were going, or Sunday, I keep saying yesterday. You overload the one side, Hop, and you've got shooters over there, and then you swing it to Chance Moore. Their help defense is pulled over. They've got to respect the shooters, and it creates a one-on-one there. Oklahoma had no answer. He just kept driving them and either finishing or getting fouled, and they couldn't bring a help side defender over to get the ball out of his hand. That is offensive scheming. That's not random. That's coaches recognizing what they have, fitting it to the skill set, and just out-scheming the other team.
Ross calls that the gravitational pull of Honor Huff. Because of his ability, he gravitationally pulls defenders toward him, and then they just exploit the advantage. But you're always trying to get a numerical advantage on one side of the floor, and that's what he did. Even when he wasn't scoring, Honor was attracting their defense, which opened up that side, which allowed him to go ahead and do his work.
He wasn't the only one. Trey's the same way.
Sure.
As those pictures we did that one day showed you, Trey was near the top of every team's scouting report. You can't leave him open, especially in this tournament. So Oklahoma knew exactly where he was at all times. So you can put two guys on the floor that have that defense pulled up to them, and especially Honor. Honor was drawing 2 and 3 guys at a time. It was creating those driving lanes. Brendan Lorient's another guy. What did he finish? 13 or 14 consecutive games of double figures. I mean, that's a dude, man. If Trump's executive order were to come through and you told me you had Brendan Lorient for another year, that dude's got his best basketball ahead of him. He's going to play a long time, and that's an NBA type of skill set, body, athleticism. And if it's not the NBA someday, that's overseas for as long as he wants. He's going to make a lot of money.
What was your Oklahoma story? You said you had something about Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into it in textual healing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, someone I forgot about it, but someone, our good buddy Joe Mock, who has the mind and memory of an elephant, reminded me on some karma there.
Let's keep going individually. Can't forget Jasper Floyd.
And also Trayson.
I will. Jasper, what a steady influence he was all year. Ross, we talked about this on the show. Last summer, before we'd even played, Ross said to me standing in a hallway outside of his office, I trust Jasper Floyd as a player maybe more than any I've ever had. That continued all year. And how about the intestinal fortitude of that dude in Sunday's game? Hadn't made a shot all game. And he not only took 2 big threes.
He was 0 of 8.
Not only took them, stuck them, and got you the win. Finishes 6 assists, no turnover, and he just ran this team like you wanted him to. You were not going to speed him up. You were not going to get him to do dumb stuff. He just did what he does and was a key part of this group all year.
Last 2 games in the tournament, he was 10 assists, 0 turnovers. For the tournament, he was 11 and 1. 11 assists and 1 turnover.
Yeah, and to your point, guys, Trayson, and we talked about this at the end of the season. Ross finally talked about it publicly, too. What he dealt with a toe injury late in this season, really remarkable that he played as much as he did down the stretch. I thought Sunday you saw the effects of that a little bit after 2 games that started to catch up. But those 2 games, you don't win that Stanford game without him. He carried you in the second half there offensively and kept you in close enough shouting distance that you could steal that game late. He was tremendous, and he became, as I've said all year, a much better basketball player than when he arrived. His rebounding and his defense, light years ahead. That guy will have opportunities to play at the professional level for a long time as well.
Absolutely true. Yep. All right, you guys ready for some healing?
Yep.
As I said, we've been gone for a week from the studio, so we got healing to do. It's positive healing. Textual healing began in the throes of depression. That's how it started. I said one day, we need some healing. We need some healing. We need some textual healing. That's how it all started. Right. So this is going to be the opposite of that. This will be a positive.
So I checked the number.
Wait a second, that's the wrong song. Yeah. Operator error. Here we go. Let's do this. No, let's not do that.
Wow. You all right there, bro?
Nah, where is it? Okay, here it is. I just wanted to play our whole category of songs.
Ah, okay. Playing the hits.
Playing the hits. Textual healing is brought to us by the good folks at WVU Medicine. That's right, you can call that number. Text us 304-404-4083, 304-404-4083 at any time, day or night.
You can call it?
Sure, you call it and then just put a text in. Textual healing is brought to us by WVU Medicine. They are the exclusive healthcare provider for all Mountaineers, including you. Do you have a MyChart account at WVU Medicine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Life's busy. Your healthcare should not slow you down. So how do you deal with it so you don't get stuck on phones? Just go do it on the MyChart app. Super simple to do. If you haven't done it yet. You can schedule appointments anytime. You can schedule right where you are. Check all your meds, check your lab tests, everything. Yeah, whether it's a virtual visit or in-person checkup, you can book quick and easy. If you don't, just go to WVUchart.com, download that app, and then you're in total control of your health, thanks to the folks at WVU Medicine and the My WVU Chart. All right, let's go. First one in. Hey, guys, I'm on a cruise ship. Didn't get to see the Stanford game, so I sent a message to the ship's hotel manager to see if they would put the game on in one of these ship's bars. Well, he did better than that. Tim from Fairfield Glade, Tennessee. Look how they hooked him up.
What do we
here.
have?
Yeah.
What'd they do?
Well, what the hotel manager did, Hoppy, is that he got the game on the television.
And we had an image of the.
We have an image.
Picture of the
So I guess I'll have to just describe what it was. It was he was at the bar, had a massive television at the bar, and they had the Mountaineer game on for him on the cruise ship.
Well done.
Yeah.
Full service.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Tim. We didn't get your picture on there. John from Oklahoma City. Honor joins the 2,000-point career scoring club. Does he go in our all-time scoring list or Tennessee Chattanooga's? The answer is the only points he'll be credited for at West Virginia are the ones he scored for West Virginia. That's how that works.
Hey,
Texter.
real quick. There. First of all,
there
it
it is. There's Tim.
Oh, geez, they did put it on the big boy TV.
I mean, he wasn't jacking around. They didn't go get it like on an iPad.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's not a little tiny one above the bar.
There's Casey Jacobson, the Stanford guy, who was all bummed out that they called the foul late against Honor Huff. Thank you very much, Tim.
Casey should have had a bunch of camera angles there. I'm surprised why he was questioning that foul call. It's pretty clear. Real quick, I saw this tweet this morning. Did you see this? From Corey Balonzi. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. He got the stat from StatHead, but this is pretty remarkable. Only 6 Division I men's basketball players have played 5+ career games in April.
Say that again.
Only 6 guys have played 5 or more career games in April in the history of college basketball.
Really?
That's what he says.
You'd think somebody from Duke would have done that.
Well, there was. Alex Caravan, UConn, went 5-1. Grant Hill from Duke went 4-1. Leitner from Duke went 3-2. Antonio Lang from Duke went 3-2. Brian Davis from Duke went 3-2. So there were some Duke players there, as you alluded to. But only one of them was perfect in April. That would be the aforementioned Honor Huff, who finishes his collegiate basketball career 5-0 in the month of April and atop that list of all-time April winners in college basketball.
How about that? That's neat.
Ross had a good vibe when we got to Vegas. We check into the hotel.
Yeah.
And they say, okay, here's your team meeting room. So this is where you meet. This is where you eat. Basically, it's where you live when you're not in your room and you're in the hotel. And he goes, this is the exact same room we were in when we won the NIT.
Really?
Because that was the year the NIT was in Vegas. He goes, exact same room. So now Ross is he's Vegas boy too. So he just won 3. He's 5-0 too. In Vegas. He's 5-0 in his last 5 games in Vegas.
Shared that meeting room with the Los Angeles Lakers, who are there every year for the Summer League.
Really?
Same room.
Yeah.
Tony and LeBron sat in the same chair for breakfast.
That's a good room. Reserve that room this fall.
Yeah. Texter. I texted earlier this season when my wife and I were watching the Mountaineers in our pergola in January. Weather's better now, watching the Crown at the outdoor bar on an 85-degree day. Let's go, Mountaineers. There's their hangout. That's their backyard. Got big
That's their
television.
backyard?
Yeah, he says they got a pergola.
Very nice.
They got a little cabana.
Excellent.
Question for you guys. How was the team treated in Vegas? I assume they were treated to a show and some nice restaurants. Can you give us a glimpse into their extracurricular activities? No shows, no nice restaurants. They were on their own. If it wasn't a team meal and they had their off time, they were able to do whatever it was that they wanted to do. We were on the strip, so they could go mule around. And fortunately, no issues, no arrests, no subpoenas or citations. Everything was good.
Not with this group. They did. A couple of them did go to a nice restaurant a couple nights.
Yeah, they did. They did. They found a nice restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they can afford to.
Food was good.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Hey, 3 guys, first-time texter, long-time listener, compelled to share this story. Family and I visit Minnesota Key, Florida each spring, eat breakfast at a place. And while we were there last year, had a WVU T-shirt on. Guy comes up to us, says, we're in West Virginia. I said, Wheeling. He said, Point Pleasant. Talked about the hiring of Rich Rod, the trust of Ren Baker in our athletic department. Fast forward this year, same place at the Beachcomber. Waitress comes up, table sit next to yours. They're from Mineral County.
Why wouldn't they be?
Mm-hmm.
I actually worked with their former principal at Kaiser High School in Brooke County. Now I had to share that with you guys. Side note, Ross Hodge and company need to do everything possible to retain DJ Thomas, Pat, from Wheeling. let me tell you a West Virginia story. So we walked each day down to the bagel shop, about almost 3 miles.
Terrific bagels. Donuts as well.
Siegel's Bagel Mania. Siegel's Bagel Mania is the name of it. It's world famous.
Down the strip?
Down at the end of the strip, right before the convention center.
Okay.
Right further, across from Resorts World. So we're walking out Saturday morning, whatever it was, Saturday morning.
Past the win, of course.
Had some WVU gear on. We're walking out, and the guy that's valet parking says, "Let's go Mountaineers!"
By the way, yes, he was valet parking at a bagel shop. Yes.
They have valet parking.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the guy, as Tony says, screams, "Let's go Mountaineers!" So we, of course, turn and go back and go over to talk.
So I said, "Dude, what do you know about West Virginia?" He goes, "Man, I'm there all the time." I said, "Excuse me?" He says, "Yeah, I go there all the time." Where's that card? And he goes, "I am a federal mine safety and health inspector."
Okay.
And I said, "Really?" He goes, "I'm in Beckley and Beaver all the time."
Beaver.
Beaver.
Gave you a beaver.
Near
I said,
Beckley?
so like, when you're down there, what do you eat? He goes, "Go to Go-Mart all the time for my coffee." And he goes, "And I love Tudor's biscuits."
There
and
you
I
go.
swear.
That's what he led with.
So, hey, Jake, put that picture, that one I sent you, the dude with the red pullover on.
Ambrose.
Ambrose. Well, his name is Ambrose Murray. There he is.
There he is.
That's our guy. That's our guy.
Yeah.
And in
That's
West
at the
Virginia.
valet stand at the bagel shop there, Hop.
Valet at the bagel shop.
So here's how it works, the valet at the bagel shop. You can go in and park for free. They'll valet your car. But you have to show them a receipt on your way out. If you don't show them a receipt from Bagel Mania, the parking's $60. So he's our guy. Don't forget,
How much was the bagel? How much was a bagel and coffee?
Well,
there was three of us, so 2 coffees plus his frou-frou little drink that he would get, and 2 bagels was $30.
No, that's not.
It's not horrible.
Not the worst.
I mean,
but-
not horrific, but
they had elite donuts on the other side
Oh, really?
of the counter.
You got a donut?
Oh, well, sure. Celebratory donut each week,
Yeah.
each day.
He befriended the girl there, and she said she's pushing the donuts because she's on commission. There's those really super fancy donuts. And he said, "Listen, if we win, we'll be back tomorrow."
For a celebratory donut.
And she was...
We walked in. She goes, "I was watching the game. Congratulations. I knew you'd be back." So kept our word.
Just banged him.
Good job.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll
banged
take
him.
one of those.
Bang this donut, yeah.
A couple of those.
Really good. So,
Excellent.
So our guy in Vegas goes to Go-Mart. Why wouldn't you? Get that Go-Mart app. Immediately
It's a
begin
long
saving
drive.
on your food and your fuel. I did not ask.
How's he do both?
He travels just back and forth. So it's not there every day. Sometimes when he's in town, he valets. Ambrose Murray also, he probably I didn't ask him what he got at Tudor's, but chances are it was the super breakfast. Wouldn't you think? I mean, that thing is absolutely loaded out. That super breakfast got everything that you need. Your choice of eggs, you get that with a side of gravy. For dipping your biscuit, it's the super breakfast classic spread. Well, next time you go into Tudor's, you can get a biscuit. There's no problem with that. But if you want that unbelievable super breakfast, try it out. Tudor's, everyone in Las Vegas eats at Tudor's. Pretty much. Texter, in-game text from my wife, who does not think that you're idiots. She commented, "You guys are getting all of your pent-up frustration about bad calls out of the system today. You're letting them have it. Thanks for having us." May have referred to an officiating decision or two during the course of the game on Sunday.
Really? Which ones?
When Honor got pinned on the sideline, the dude absolutely just comes across and tomahawks him across the arm. The ball goes out of bounds off of Honor, so they rule it first. They rule it first West Virginia ball. He misses that call. It was Oklahoma ball, but he misses the foul that forced the ball to go out of bounds. So I may have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were a little bit worked up about that.
I mean, just get the call right when you're standing in front of it. Guess what? You're getting paid, too, to get the call right. Texter, thanks for having us. Texter, here's one for you. Next season, over-under, 28.5 combined wins for men's basketball and football. 28.5 combined wins for men's basketball and football next year.
It'd be great if it was over.
That's a good number. I think I'd go over.
That's a great number.
It is a good number. I think I might just go over on that, Brad.
John from Oklahoma City, in-game text. This team is killing me, but winning this game is one of the best things that's happened since we joined the league. Beating the Sooners, for those of us who live here, is gold. I won't forget this for a long time. Texter, Grayson, checking in from the Kaiser Metroplex to celebrate the West Virginia Mountaineers Crown World's Championship. Hang the banner. Texter, what's that Brad always says? Oh, yeah, it's hang the banner. Congrats to Ross and crew rallying to win the crown. Let's use this momentum from the end of the season to get into the big dance next year. Big things ahead for this program. Let's go Mountaineers.
Mm-hmm.
Texter, Lewis and Lewisburg. I can't find the plus-minus on Harlan Obioha. Had to be the best. Yeah, plus 35. Texter, boys, great work in Sin City. Well done. Do you hang a banner for winning the crown?
Absolutely. Wouldn't you?
I don't think you hang a banner. That's what I think you do. You put the trophy in the practice facility. They got a big, huge trophy thing. I think you don't hang a banner inside the Coliseum. I think you put it somewhere. You put a little something somewhere in the practice facility. I would build something that has, like, when you win the Puerto Rican shootout, when you win the Cancun deal. I'd put a little something there for season tournaments that aren't NCAA or NIT. That'd be my guess. I don't know what they're going to do. Texter, inaugural year of the tourney, first season under Ross Hodge. You beat an ACC team, a Big East team, and an SEC team to win it all, and did it in dramatic fashion. Hard not to respect that run, honestly. One of the more enjoyable West Virginia teams in a while. Tough, likable group that we'll talk about for years to come. With what's coming in next season, it looks to be the start of great things. What do you guys think? Hang the banner? I say yes. Our buddy Rick Shear. He wants the banner up, Brad.
Great.
And then Devin in Goshen, the Goshen Road exit, which is very popular. Hashtag hang the banner. That's it. That's the text. Texter. As we watched Coach Ross Hodge and his players receive the championship crown in Vegas, I couldn't help but think back to the Big 12 conference season and some rough spots when fans were criticizing our coach and calling him too nice, saying he's simply too nice of a guy to win at this level, and comparing him to Neil Brown, who was also deemed to be too nice. It is absolutely gratifying to see success and good things come to good people like our coach Ross Hodge and his players. Chalk one up for the good guys. Sent with Mountaineer pride. Lindbergh from Lucado.
They did a great job creating culture this year, man. And
Yes.
a lot of that has to come from your players' character too. But
Yes.
it was driven by this staff. Everything we described about the players earlier, Hop, it was this staff. They never looked at you weird. They never hung their heads after a loss, never got short. They were tremendous. That starts with them.
I'd say this about Ross being a nice guy. He is a nice guy. He is a nice guy. But when it comes time to play and when it comes time to practice and what they're doing, he'll cut your throat.
Yeah, he gets after it.
He's the angelic assassin. I mean, what you see publicly and then what you see when it comes time to, like, what he wants. And that's why they were number 11 in the nation in scoring defense. This will not be the most athletic team that Ross Hodge will have at West Virginia. There will be teams that will be more athletic than this. That defense will get even better than this. And they finished 11th in the nation, giving up 65 points per game in the top conference in the country. So this nice narrative, someone missed the boat on that one. He's a nice guy. He's a great guy.
That's such a misnomer to put. You do not get to those positions without being ultra competitive and ready to absolutely just kick somebody right square in the stomach if you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lazy moniker that sports, I'm not saying this texter, that sports people put on as a criticism. That's just, you can't get to this level without having something there.
What he's not doing is MFing everybody in sight.
Precisely. That I think sometimes people put the ability to hurl MFs, and that makes you tough. That's actually the proof is in what's the result, and the result is they were tough. They were tough, and the numbers prove that out over the course of 35 games. And you're 11th in the country, and there's 360 plus teams that play.
Yes. If he was too nice of a guy, they wouldn't have been able to do that 3-game stretch like they did. If he was too mean of a guy, the team would have quit. He knows what he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
Texter, guys, I'll be honest, I forgot about the CBC, but I'm sure glad I tuned in for all 3 games. Tony's saying that this was the best group of guys he's been around in 42 years, says it all. Not the most talented in gold and blue, but all heart, no quit, true Mountaineers. I'm going to miss this group. Texter, Tony, Brett, thanks for bringing the games to life for us. You guys were really the best, especially when you let us know some of the bad refs calls, and they truly are. This is a good one. Matt in Tulsa, Oklahoma. P.S. Tony, I got to be the mystery reader for my son's first grade class. I read them a literary masterpiece. At least we know these Oklahoma kids learned something very important on that day. There he is. Oh. That's Matt in Tulsa with his son, and he's got my book there about West Virginia. He read that there in Oklahoma. That's nice. Very good.
Good job, Matt.
Got another book coming out here in the next, hopefully, 6-8 weeks.
Published author.
Called My Friend Hoppy. It's a story of a bunny rabbit. No, it's not.
It's a sad story.
Don't read the end. Texter obviously honors three-point shooting insane. Do you guys think we will ever see a player at West Virginia make 8 threes in a game 3 times in the same season?
Crazy.
I'd love it. Don't know if we will, but I'd love it.
So he finishes his season as the single-season leader in made three-point field goals.
Franklin Young had that?
Frank Young had
past
it.
Frank Young, right? You won't see, you may, and maybe in our lifetimes, I mean in your lifetimes, you'll see another great three-point shooter, but I'm not sure you'll see in this generation another player with that kind of range get the shot off that quickly. It's like a blink of an eye.
I've said, Hop, I've been doing this a long time at 3 different Division I institutions around some basketball Hall of Famers. That's as good of a tough shot maker as I've ever been around.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can just get it off in every situation. He was electric. I'm thrilled he chose to come to West Virginia. He was fun to watch. And guys, we have this debate all the time as we're into portal season here. That's 2 guys that put up 2 of the better seasons in West Virginia basketball history. You only got them for a year, but what Javon Small did last year and what Honor Huff did this year, remarkable. Yeah. Remarkable in just 1 year in the gold and blue.
T-Dub from Barbersville, dare we mention the Mountaineer men's team with the likes of the NC State Wolfpack of '83, Cardiac Pack, led by 4 seniors who had played a total of 131, 124, 113 games for the same program. West Virginia, entire roster, 1 year, 35 games. That's all they played together. David versus Goliath in the NCAA 83 championship. And in this day, the age of no rules and billionaire donors, the number of Goliaths are growing every year, many of them in the Big 12. Truly, the common thread is the head coach unapologetically and enthusiastically believes in their team, never stops coaching them to be better on and off the court. As Jimmy V said, don't give up, don't ever give up. Mountaineer Nation has witnessed it all this year with this team. The giant fell Easter Sunday, 2026. Finally, obvious observation. Listen to this, Hoppy. Mm-hmm. May we never forget one of the great days in Mountaineer history, 30 of November, 2022. Ren Baker officially announced as Vice President and Director of Athletics for WVU. Appreciate you, fellas, and all the things you do. Let's go. Well, I would say this. Ren is considered one of the great ADs in the country. It's great to have him. But I'll tell you this. After going to meals with him here a couple of times on this last trip, questionable food order.
Excuse me?
Well, the food snob's saying that's not questionable. It was very popular. It was outstanding. Of all the great decisions Renz has made, his ordering at Italian restaurants sits at the very top of his best decisions.
Oh, really?
In my opinion.
Explain.
My opinion.
Well, here
like
it is.
He puts his opinion out like that it's everybody's opinion.
Right.
It's his opinion. It's his opinion.
All right, so
we're in the it's Envoy. Is that what it is? Envoy. Sinatra's at the Envoy. Very foo-foo.
The Wynn. Encore.
The
Wynn Hotel property.
So we're at the Sinatra's restaurant there, and Ren sits down. He says, yeah, I wonder if you could do this for me. And immediately, we got a professional waiter. I mean, this is. I go, oh boy, what's coming here? Can you make my chicken parm without red sauce? Can you put Alfredo sauce?
Sorry, that was veal parm.
Veal parm with Alfredo sauce on top of it. And I just, hey, Jay, can you show some of those pictures of what that thing looks like? So it's the veal parm with the white albino sauce on top of that. And that's Ren's go-to order. So it became known as the Renfredo.
That's good.
I've dubbed it as the Renfredo. And the guy looked at him kind of like a dog, you know, when you talk to them and they tilt their head sideways, like when you talk to a dog and the dog goes like this. And I said, oh boy, here comes the blowback. And the guy said, yeah, We can do it, but there will be an upcharge.
No. You're confusing
Oh, is
the
that
two
the different
stories.
restaurant? Yeah.
The guy that looked at Ren, I think if he could have got away with kicking us out of the restaurant, he would have. The waiter didn't hide his disgust, really, and said, "I don't know that we can do that. I've got to ask the
He
chef."
did say that. Yeah, he did say
And
it
to
the
Ren's
first night.
credit, he's been in a lot of
sure,
high-level
yes.
negotiations. Just stares right back at the guy and just says, "Okay, go ask." Guy leaves, and Skippy over here going, "Hey, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it." Like he starts giggling. Ren doesn't move, just says he'll approve it. Guy comes back out, just crestfallen. The waiter, crestfallen, says, "Yeah, we can do that." And so then I gave it the great, make it 2. Bring it. Wonderful decision by Ren. The next time we were out to dinner,
That was the other place.
was another restaurant, a wonderful restaurant. This one, waiter's name was Tony. Ren says this one was chicken parm, not veal parm. Says we're going to get chicken parm. Would like that with Alfredo sauce.
Renfredo.
Skippo, again, gets all giddy because he thinks the waiter's going to go off. This waiter doesn't even flinch. He says, "Well, yes, sir, we can do that. There'll be a $4 upcharge." Ren said, "Well, that would be fine. That would be fine." So I jump in, said, "Make that 2." Another person with us said, "Make that 3." It was almost all the way around. It was wonderful.
Did upset Skippy over there? Was
Well,
he
no,
upset?
by that night he was okay. He'd just come to accept it. That was just part of the deal.
Renfredo. So if you can text us in, like, have you ever? Is that how?
Have
Does
you tried
anyone
it?
else order Renfredo? I want to know. Is Renfredo popular among other people?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's Sinatra's in the win. If you go, you'll be okay now. We've cleared the way. Ren has cleared the way for it.
I just did a Chat GPT search on that and asked, can you get veal Parmesan? No veal.
Yeah, Parmesan.
With
Yeah,
Alfredo sauce.
chicken parm or veal parm. Yeah.
Here's the answer. Sounds like you're going for a classic comfort dish.
Oh, it's comforting, all right.
Veal with Alfredo sauce. Here's a simple recipe.
Yeah, thank you.
It was excellent.
Anyway.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it. Because sometimes that Alfredo, I'm sure there
Do
was.
we have a picture of that?
I sent him pictures anyway.
Is Jake having trouble? Because I can send
Texter, good morning, gentlemen. I just want to comment on how absolutely enjoyable the play-by-play and the game broadcasts were during the title game. If you listen to the outside media, they have people believe this tournament didn't matter and the team didn't matter, but sports are supposed to be fun. Last night was absolutely fun, an unbelievable performance by our young man. I'm just thankful I was able to listen to you guys call it. I could hear it in your voices how enjoyable it was and how proud it was, and it was a truly special night. And as Tony said, in all of his years, might be the most enjoyable group of young men. I have to believe he's correct. Thanks for bringing it to our nation, to Talamo, Georgia. It was awesome to listen to. Matt, the Delta mechanic. Texter.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much, Matt. Great game to be a Mountaineer, Gary and Elkins. You guys have the innate ability to capture West Virginia's heart and emotions. Listening to the national media circus leaves me with nothing more than angst and disgust. Saying West Virginia shouldn't be in the title game, but rather Stanford. Well, no respect to us, disrespect to Stanford, when they should have had more points than us at the end of the game. I believe that's how it works. You keep score. Great championship, yes. We let a few games get away this year. I really enjoyed watching these young men. I feel represented West Virginia and the state well. Wish them nothing but success in the future.
By the way, one note on that Stanford game. I know you needed to come back late there, as we outlined. You led for 33 minutes of the game. The rightful team, Hoppy, in my opinion, got to the finish line with the win. Just to eliminate that narrative there.
Program note.
Thank you.
Program note. If you're listening today, Mountaineer baseball game. Remember, we're supposed to be in an event today.
We are.
West Virginia and Marshall, supposed to be played today, but they moved the game to Wednesday, April 8th. So we are going to do our BW3 event at the University Town Center Wednesday, April 8th from 4 until 5:30. We'll be there as we record tomorrow, but April 8th.
Also not today.
Game's off. They postponed the game. You knew that.
So Wednesday, April 8th, Buffalo Wild Wings.
Listen, like I text you things, you don't look at the text. I texted you that yesterday when the game got postponed. I can't help you. Let me see.
Real quick, can we revisit Renfredo for just a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we?
There it is, Hoppy. Look at it. There's Renfredo.
Oh, it looks very good.
It's very
It's
good.
delicious.
I don't know.
It's nice. Well, you didn't have to eat
The
it.
cheese, the
You
Alfredo.
don't have to eat it.
That's always my point to him. That's always my point.
Nobody said, and get one for Tony.
He got his own dish.
I got
What did you get?
Well, Ren called it
Seafood porridge.
Seafood porridge is what he called it. Hey, Jake, do you have the one picture? He may not have those pictures. Those pictures may not have gone to him. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, that was Renfredo.
I got a fish soup,
Okay.
a red sauce fish soup, and then when I was handing the plate back after I was done eating it, the food attendant may have gotten a little loose with the plate. Some of that red sauce may have fallen, may have banged off the floor and bounced up and got one of Ren's clean sneakers.
I'm surprised there was anything left on the plate.
It was a big.
Some of the porridge was left.
Ren kept calling it porridge. It was a red sauce. He kept calling it porridge.
Was he saying the porridge is too hot, the porridge is too cold, this porridge is just
I got
right?
some of that porridge on my shoe.
Ren sent me a picture.
Yeah.
Picture of you guys eating.
Oh, it was good. Ate with Chris Wallace one night.
Oh, did you? He was there. Huh?
Yeah. He had a great dessert. What was that
Big-time
thing?
tournament. He had
What was
some guys.
What was that dessert he had? A sombrero, the chocolate sombrero? Fedora. That was good. Just put it right onto his plate. Didn't even order it. Hey, this coming Friday, WVU Women's Volleyball is doing a special free clinic to sixth graders and younger at Parkersburg South High School. That's this coming Friday, and they're going to have the clinic at 5 until 6 o'clock. And then after that, WVU's women's volleyball team will scrimmage Ohio University.
That's April 10th, Friday, April 10th.
It's a free clinic, sixth grade and under. Great opportunity for younger ones to learn from the Mountaineer players. And then they're going to do it in Wheeling later this spring against Ohio State. They'll scrimmage Ohio State. And we'll get you that information and details as that comes available. But this Friday, April 10, at Parkersburg South High School.
When did you text me again?
Hoppy.
Keep moving.
Tired of it, man. I think it's communication denial. But by the way, just stop shutting your phone off when you go to bed. I mean, people communicate after you go to bed. Hi, guys. Randy from State College. As a Mountaineer fan, I'm always excited to have a reason to celebrate. It would come in from a text from Groover to me, you, and Groover. Groover sent it to us. He said, can we do it Wednesday? I said, Brad and I are both in, and you never responded, apparently.
Well, Groover sends so many texts. I mean, not like text
Let me just
exhaustion.
tell you something. You'd be nowhere without Groover. Don't ever forget it. Taking shots at homeless Dave. As a Mountaineer fan, I'm always excited to have a reason to celebrate, and as you know, there haven't been a lot of reasons over the last several years, but boy, did that come through at the CBC. Comeback, Stanford, amazing. Gritty demeanor, heart, contributions, several different players. Had to be one of the best comebacks of all time. Finals, up 15, down 12. Weaker teams would have packed it. Not these guys. Somehow they get to the game in overtime, fall back by 6. No quit. Got some stops, critical shots. As I've been saying all year, Ross Hodge can coach, but he also can recruit players with pride and character. Things are looking up for the Mountaineer men's team, and that makes me happy.
Tony, I said it the other day. You mentioned the portal is open. The best portal pickup so far is that Ross Hodge is returning for another year.
First time in 4 years, West Virginia will have the same coach.
Because usually you change coaches every year.
It's a new concept.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and keep the same basketball coach for the second year, Hop.
Well, that's
new concept.
That's unusual.
So
though.
starting the portal in a good shape.
Normally
there.
you change every year.
I think.
Yeah, we could have started a
I
hell.
think that must be just every year you get a new coach. Is that what happens?
We could have started a hell of a rumor and go like, you know what? I don't want to say this, but Ross did not fly back with the team. Didn't fly back with the team.
Oh, let's start tracking planes.
His daughter got an award. She's a graduating senior back in Dallas.
Big award today.
And so she got a big award, so he wanted to go there and be sure he was there for the assembly. Be back to work.
Good for him.
Yeah, good.
Did the team all come back?
Everyone, almost everyone. One player, because he was closer to home, just popping out there and then coming back. But his school's done already anyway. We had like 3 guys. They're already done. They're already done academically. They already got their degrees. So they're done. Weren't even yet done. Hey, Tony, Brad, Hoppy, wondering if the Ross Hodge showed the team Bill Stewart's Leave No Doubt speech before an earlier great win against Oklahoma. Discuss among yourselves, Bob, and the toenails of the foothills. I actually showed Ross during breakfast one morning. I said, you ever see Stu's Leave No Doubt? And he goes, no, I hadn't seen it. So we showed the coaches there that were sitting at breakfast, and they went, ooh, well, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
It is good.
Texter, have watched a lot of basketball, saw every WVU game. Don't know about you guys, but I think the officiating in the Crown was the best we've had all years. Kudo to the Zebras. Obviously, the long rest beneficial. Now onto the portal. Regroup for next year. How about them ears? Actually, West Virginia did well at the foul line throughout the tournament.
Yes.
I thought there were some missed calls, but that's going to happen.
So I've been kind of debating whether or not to bring this up.
That's a stunner.
The foul on Honor at the end of the Stanford game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I watched it several times. I'm sure you guys did.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Stanford was saying, no, he fouled him before,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was the foul on the three-point shot.
Mm-hmm.
Your take on that?
If Gieler was attempting to foul him earlier, he didn't do it well enough.
Agree.
Is that what it is? Okay.
What he did, if he put his hand out there, was happening all game at a much higher degree. That to me, that's not.
He needed to rake
If you
him.
wanted to foul him before he got in the act of shooting, then you go wrap it and you make a demonstrative play.
Okay.
That was not what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that was
didn't mean to jump on
No,
top of you
that's
there.
what
but
I thought.
I've
He-
watched that a bunch, and then there's no doubt he came across him. But to say that he tried to foul earlier and it wasn't called, that I disagree with that analysis.
Yeah.
I just do.
Just curious.
Luke writes, what an exciting time. Completely sums up the identity of this year's team. So happy for this team staff and the fan base. Strong end of the season. And what hopes to be a long and successful stint for Ross. As always, thanks for all you guys do. Let's go Mountaineers. That's Luke writes in there. JD from the Southern Coalfields. That was some sweet revenge after Oklahoma played Country Roads during our final trip to Norman before they left for the SEC. Let's go Mountaineers. Love the show.
Is that what?
So that's what I was talking about. I forgot that until I saw that. They played Country Roads when they beat us the last time we went to Norman out of nowhere. And I remember that night I was there, and I was going like, seriously? You're gonna bring us this? And so, yeah, that was a good one. What goes around, as they say. Yeah, good. Texter. Been a great month of basketball, from watching the ladies host NCAA at the Hope Coliseum to watching the men's team try not to give me a heart attack with those OT games in Vegas. Congratulations to the men winning the crowd. Special congratulations to Marshall's women's team on winning the WNIT, the future of basketball. Very bright in the state moving forward. On to baseball now. Let's go. Signed, Elite One Jennings.
So baseball, tough start the first game against UCF, and then that second game, which was going on at the same time that you guys were doing a game, and then West Virginia comes from, 8 down, 7 down?
Incredible comeback.
They were down 10-2.
Yeah, it comes back, and in the ninth gets a walk-off.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, if you got any pictures that we haven't used, just kind of montage them, and we'll look. And if you don't, my bag.
That was
there we go. There's the bagel shop.
Oh, okay.
So that's Siegel's Bagel Mania.
Yeah.
And the president of the university, who was a delight to be with for the 5+ mile walk that we had. So we'd start with coffee at our hotel, then we'd walk the 2-3 miles down to the Bagel World. We'd get another coffee there and some stuff, and then we'd head back.
Hop over my left shoulder to the right part of the screen. You can the donut shop's cut off, but it's right over on that side.
Oh, okay.
And the other guy on the left, who you may not recognize, he's kind of like the unknown man. That's Ben Murray, whose name you probably hear more than you've ever seen. He's the sport administrator for both football and basketball, and he was with us there on those walks. He walked hurt.
Excuse me?
He walked. He was hurting. He's got some issues.
Just toughed it out.
There's Johnny West, former Mountaineer. He was at the game. Delightful to see Johnny and his daughter, 5-year-old McKenna, who is golfing now, and she has
wonder
won.
why.
She's won 2 tournaments already.
Wait a minute. Wait.
She's 5,
And
she's won 2 tournaments against 7 and 8 years old, and then the 3rd tournament she played in, she finished 2nd.
And she's 5.
Yes.
Now, is she hitting off the men's tees, or where is she hitting from?
Probably the back tees.
I don't know. But what was wild is one day she had to go. She missed because she had a golf lesson, right? A golf lesson. They live in Vegas. Johnny lives in Vegas.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, lives in Vegas.
Well, it was a natural, and you, I'm sure, saw it there, or maybe you didn't see it, but on Fox made a big deal out of it because the first game, Johnny was there with his wife, Michelle Wee, former professional golfer, and their daughter. And she went to Stanford. She's got the Stanford cap
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And Johnny's got the throwback West Virginia swag on. And so it was a great storyline.
A better one than that. Got a better one than that.
McKenna had Grandpa Jerry's jersey on as well.
Yes,
McKenna
yes.
went to the Grandpa side of things there with Jerry's jersey.
But a better one than that
Yeah.
is that the only other time West Virginia played Stanford was 1959. West Virginia was number 2 in the country. Played Stanford in the L.A. Classic at the L.A. Coliseum. Jerry goes for 27 points and 21 rebounds
21 rebounds. I
as
heard you
West
say
Virginia
that,
beats
yeah.
Stanford, and that's the only other time they had played. Now, go from 59, which is 41, 51, 61, 67 years later. West Virginia and Stanford meet for just the second time. Johnny is there on courtside with his wife, a Stanford grad, and his daughter wearing a Jerry West jersey.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
that's
That's a lot of
good-
stuff there.
That's a good one.
That's a lot of dots.
That's a good
That's
one.
a lot of connecting dots.
All
I
right.
like that a lot.
So, Jake, that's it for the pictures. So we're done? Okay. Very good. What are we doing? It's Tuesday.
don't know. What
It's
are we doing?
Tuesday, so back next week.
Next week? Okay.
Yeah, we'll start doing next week. Well, what do you think?
Let's just see what happens here.
What does that mean?
Well, let's just see what happens.
We're going to start doing interviews. We're going to start booking interviews.
We're efforting on an interview.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
You think we got that early?
We'll keep you posted on that. There's portal news that's happening, which
Yeah.
could be significant
Yes,
news.
yes.
We'll see.
Do this.
Follow and subscribe. It's the easiest way to do it.
Subscribe so you don't miss. But we got an interview possibility. Have I ever used this one before?
Just chill out here.
That
Would you
would-
just hit the music?
It'll be a dandy.
Just hit the music.
It'll be a dandy.
We're a long way from you being able to say that. So just hit the music.
First reported here, going to have an interview, and it's going to be a dandy.
Well,
I mean, I think I can say that.
I don't know. I'm not in the loop, so I don't know who it is. I can't say.
Well, I shouldn't have put him in the loop either.
Yeah, you're right. That's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. Like passing the ball to somebody with 3 seconds on the shot clock. You take it.
All right, we've crowned the kings. Special thanks to our producer, Jake. Three Guys brought to us by Gomart. Get that Gomart rewards card. Go to Gomart.com for details or download the app. Immediately begin saving on food and fuel. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. They're terrific. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way like that guy out in Vegas does.
Yeah.
With a Tudor's biscuit. Super, super. By Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. They won't take no for an answer. Conley CPA Group provides value beyond numbers. And by WVU Medicine. They provide us textual healing and your healing, the exclusive healthcare provider for all mountaineers, including you. That'll do it for us, man. We be out for Hoppy and Brad. Again, subscribe. Don't miss an episode. Got a good one coming up here. Hey, see you at BW3, or we'll see you
Tomorrow.
See you
Wednesday,
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
The 8th. And then we'll see you there. Bye.